Alright, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to use my free Tycoon script, which is in my Discord. The link will be in the description. But yeah, I thought I'd give a tutorial going along with giving it out for free and everything because it is a little complicated. You just need to know how to use it. That's really it. But here is what it looks like in my map. Uh, Open it up here. Player spawners, currency adders. I'll explain what all this means, but got all this stuff here. So this is what it's like in my map, and right now it's handling all of this stuff that you can see. Got the first floor, second floor, third floor, So I'll show you what this looks like in game. Alright, so here it is in game. This is obviously unfinished, but go in and buy things. More props will appear, more upgrades will appear. This is all being done from the script. This. Boom. Collect. So, typical Tycoon stuff. But, yeah, so let me get into how it actually works. Alright, so here I am in another project. This is where I do commissions. But, this is what it's going to look like when you first put it in UEFN. So you're going to have player spawners, currency adders, and idle currency adders. All three of these are classes handled in code and whatnot. And you can add as many array elements as you'd like to them. But basically for the player spawners, these are just to get the player and add the initial UI. So like you saw in the last clip, I had the UI on the left side of my screen showing the money. And then the currency adders, these right here, these are going to be, so you add an index 0 right here, and you have all these things. This is really what I'm going to be explaining in this video. So you see all these things here, but let me go back to my other map so I can show you an example of me using this. Alright, so here I am back in my Tycoon project, and let me show you what I was talking about before. You can ignore this initialize passive money editable I have right here. This is just something I added in my personal script to add a couple things onto my map. But, there's a reason I have 54 elements in this currency adder array, and that's because the currency adder class basically handles all the props. So all the purchases you see in here are handled by these currency adder indexes. So let me open one up right here, just at random. You can see right here, I have the text prop, enhancer 1 text, blueprint. So inherently, I don't have, well, at least for this, there's no way to tell which purchase this is besides the name of the prop or the blueprint that you're going to make and also how much it costs. But that's why you have to be, you got to be careful with what you name things. You got to actually have a system, call it what it is and not just some random name. So from that, I know this is enhancer 1, which is this right here. So enhancer 1 text BP, basically I go here, text prop. So this is the text prop I have for this. The activate trigger is this. This is the trigger that the player is actually going to step on, and which will give you the prop or whatever, spend the money and show the prop in the Tycoon. And then successful spend trigger, this is a thing. So I keep these successful spend triggers under my map. And I know you see like a ton of triggers right here, which is kind of confusing. But basically what I did for this map was I would put all level 1 purchases. These successful spend triggers are going to be at the highest level. Level 2 successful spend triggers are going to be just below that. And then level 3 is going to be just below level 2. So now that makes more sense. But I always put the successful spend trigger linking to this purchase right below the activate trigger and the text prop. So if you go right, look at this, go right under, this is the successful spend trigger. And this is the trigger that's going to activate if the player can actually purchase what they stepped on. So if they don't have 5k elixir, like you see here, then it's not going to go through. This trigger isn't going to trigger. But vice versa, it will, and then it'll do the thing that it's supposed to. Currency name. So, okay, by default, this script has two currencies. I have money and elixir in my map right now. I might add more. You can easily add more if you know some basic verse. You can kind of go into my code and look at what I did, make a third currency. But really, the currencies, money is called currency 1, and then elixir is called currency 2. So for this currency name editable variable that you put right here, you just put the currency that you want to use for this purchase. So since this is the purchase for Enhancer 1, and Enhancer 1 uses 5k elixir, elixir is currency 2, because money is currency 1. So I'm going to put currency 2. And then the change amount is how much you're actually spending. So minus 5,000. Be wary of this. You need to put, if your player is actually spending money on something and not gaining money, then you have to put a negative. So minus 5,000. This also works the other way, where if you want to give a player money when they step on a trigger, you could make this just 5,000, no negative. So plus 5,000. And then also something about that too will be the successful spend trigger won't go off regardless, because you don't need a successful, the code doesn't need to check if the player has enough money, because it's just giving you money. But back to this. So right here, the score manager and score amount are specific things. Honestly, I probably could have removed this, but I mean, it gives you guys more customizability. Damn, it's tough to pronounce. But I use this for just one instance right now, and that is up here, where you need 250,000 plus 1 key to unlock this. And then it plays a cool little animation, which I'll show you guys later. But I did this by, so the score manager and score amount here, if you put a score amount here, like say I put 1, that's going to be, a player is going to need a score of 1 to buy this. So on top of what you put for change amount, they're also going to need a score of 1. And importantly too, I'm not on the index where this purchase is actually being used, but the score manager right here, this would need to be attached to a score manager to actually give and yeah, to actually know if the player has the score and whatnot. But you won't be using that too often, so if you want to use it, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. These are just spacers. You can kind of space out your code however you want. I just did it like this. It's convenient. I thought of it first. I just put some emojis in code. Spacer 1, spacer 2. This kind of lets you know you're going into like a different area of the editables. So this is kind of below or above spacer 1 and spacer 2. So the stuff we just covered is about the stuff about this purchase, the purchase that you're doing on this index. Below spacer 2, you're going to find stuff for after you purchase this, what's going to be next. So next text props, next buy triggers. Honestly, I'm going to switch indexes and find one where I actually do use these next text props and next buy triggers. Okay, so here. This is supposed to say artillery room, but it's artillery room text BP, because I forgot a Y. But that's right here. So artillery room text BP. Yeah, that's this. Artillery shells right here. Yeah. So when you buy this, these next text props and next buy triggers are right here. So this means that you're hiding these until you buy this. So I know this is just like triggers and text and whatnot. But I know like when you buy this, you unlock all of this. You unlock shelves, random guns, snipers, assault rifles, blah blah blah. Because I don't want that showing until you buy this. So that's what this does. And importantly, to pair with that, you have zval next triggers. This editable variable. This is going to be the z value, voice crack, z value of the next triggers, which is important because these triggers are actually just under the map because you can't hide triggers like you can props. So these triggers sit under the map when you first launch a session, and then they're teleported to a z value. The z value is this, and I have this as a dynamic variable because we're using this same what do you want, a system, I guess, for multiple levels. So down here, I know it off the top of my head, the z value for these triggers is 7.5. Up here, it's 807.5, and up here, it's I think it's 17, 16, pretty sure. So this just allows easy variability between levels for the next upgrades that you want to show after you buy something. And then let's see. All right. And then right below that, you have spacer 3, spacer 4. So we're spacing something out. This is going to be the actual props that are going to show. So it's an array. Of course, you can add as many elements as you want. I'm going to delete these because I don't need them. But for this one, you buy the artillery shelves. The artillery shelves are this stuff. The shelves right here. But yeah, you put as many as you want. And then when you buy it, anything under this prop section will be revealed. There's some more customizability for this. Replacing prop, you can see right here, it's a logic variable. So this is if you're going to replace a prop. And let me show you an instance where I am using this. I mean, you can see it right here. I mean, to go to the next level, obviously there's something in the way right there. But that's not the case in the game. Let me just look. Hopefully I can find this kind of quick. Maybe I can find like floor 2. Where you purchase floor 2 is going to be where you can find me kind of using this. Oh yeah, floor 2. Okay. So replacing prop right here. So it shows these props, blah, 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 unlock floor 2. But then it hides something else. So I'm going to check, yes, we're replacing a prop, because I am replacing a prop in this case. If you're not, you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to worry about that or anything under this. And sorry, just a heads up. Yeah, everything below spacer 6 is not going to be in the code that I'm giving because this is specially tailored for my map. So it's also confusing. But and then, if you're replacing a prop to hide, I'm hiding ceiling 1. And obviously that's the thing that's in the way right here. So that's how that works. But okay, what was I going to explain next? That's kind of it for this. This is the important part. Let me think. Oh yeah, so this is important too. Actually, let me cut to a clip where I can actually show you. So, but basically, in short, these successful spend triggers are helpful because you can use event binding to like make other things happen outside of code. So, I mean, right here, so you go on. When you open the bedroom, you can see I have a cinematic here. When you open the bedroom, you have this trigger that would go off. And when this trigger is successfully purchased, a cinematic plays. And that cinematic, I'm not actually going to need to cut to the clip, whatever. I won't do it in game, I'll just do it here. And that cinematic is this. Let me go into the camera. Camera cuts. The materials are a little messed up here, but that's what it is in short. So that's cool. You can do some stuff outside of code. So like when someone buys something, you can use event binding on the successful spend trigger to make something else happen. Just allows you to do more stuff with the code. whatnot. Blah blah blah. I think what else? What else? Oh, well, I guess actually here I'll also explain this. So I went over the currency adders, idle currency adders. I'll go over this. So idle currency adders I used as a separate class, easier, whatever, for the dropper system, which is classic for like every tycoon. Um, God, that's annoying. Turn that off. Um, yeah, so when you purchase these, like droppers and enhancers, they're going to give you passive money. And that passive money is going to show up here. Uh, this is kind of a thing on its own. This took a lot of work. Actually, yeah, so I'm not included in this. I might help people with showing their passive income system like this shown here. But for right now, I'm just showing you, what's actually included in the code. So right here, index 0 is going to be what's down here. So collect trigger is actually this. So this is a separate mesh, but this is the collect trigger right here. And that means it's teleported up when you buy it. But when you step on it, you get the money that's been building up passively from your droppers or enhancers. But yeah, that's what that does. And then, I think these are pretty self-explanatory. Dropper purchase 1, trigger 1, important. This is a trigger. You step on it, and then it starts giving you money. And then you have number 2, 3, 4, and then I call these enhancers. You can call them whatever you want, but they're called enhancers here. Enhancer 1, 2, 3. And this just gives you cash, so that's why it's called currency 1. And passive money HUD message. This right here is because I use UMG for the for showing the text for the money here. So let me show you in passive income 1. This is the HUD message device, but passive income 1, I'll go into it. There's like textures and stuff and you saw in the first clip where the passive money shows, but these are just the numbers. I show them through UMG and I change them through code. But that's that. And is there anything else I want to cover? I don't think so right now. I know the castle is kind of ugly, but that's because it's in the works. Unfinished Tycoon. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Sorry if the video was boring. I feel like the idea was inherently boring. But if you need to know, how the script functions and you want to use it for your map, I guess you kind of need to watch it. And as always, I'll always be around in my Discord for extra help if anybody needs it. I'm just trying to grow a community there, trying to promote being helpful in the community and not charging $500 for a Tycoon script. I don't think charging money for everything is necessary. So if you want to join my Discord, the link is in the description, like I said in the beginning. And, you can always ask me if you need anything. So peace out, guys.